Are you responsible for managing a contact center? Is your contact center running a Mitel MiContact Center Business telephone system? Have you watched my video about the queue group performance by period report? Have you wished data would be displayed in graphs instead of tables? Do you want to better understand your call volume by time of day or see what time of day callers are abandoning? Do you want to see which queues are having the most impact on your service level? If so, you're in the right place. Before watching this video, I recommend seeing my video about the queue group performance by period report. That video has more background about how to log into the system and understanding what queue reports are showing. As shown in my video about the queue group performance by period report, we'll log into CCMWeb, Mitel's tool for call reporting. Because we're asking about telephone calls sent to a queue or queue group, we'll go to Reports, Voice, Queue Reports. Toward the top left, there is a drop-down showing all available queue reports. Scroll down to find Queue Group Performance Chart, or in your environment, you may need to use the Queue Performance Chart instead of the Queue Group Performance Chart. If you're unsure which of these to use, as a general rule of thumb, use queue groups when they're configured. But this will depend on your environment, and using a queue report is acceptable and even desirable in many environments. So it just depends on your situation. In other videos, I spend a little more time on this topic to explain the difference. Under this drop-down, there is a list of queues or queue groups that you have access to. Select the queue or queue group that you want to report on. If you hold the Shift key or Control key, it's possible to select multiple reports at the same time. Then I'll set the date range. Because I want to be emailed a copy of the report, I'll click on Distribution and then enter my email address. Now I'll submit my request to have the report generated. Here is the report that was sent to my email. Toward the top of the report, I see the report name and parameters. This is a queue group performance chart. It shows the name of the queue or queue group, the date range, and the time the report was generated. Toward the top, I see a graph showing total call volume throughout the day, calls offered, calls completed, and calls abandoned. Calls offered shows the time that a call entered the queue. Calls completed shows the time that a call was answered from the queue. And call abandoned shows the time the callers hung up before being answered from the queue. Below this, we see a graph showing the maximum number of agents available throughout the day. Continuing down, there's a bar graph for the queue, or if a queue group performance chart, a bar graph for each queue showing calls completed and calls abandoned. In this example, we see two queues in this queue group performance chart report. One is the primary queue that gets all the telephone calls. The other is blank because it is the resilient queue, which would not normally have telephone calls unless the primary system failed. Next to this, we see things that are affecting service levels. In this particular example, we see that telephone calls are configured to interflow to voicemail if not answered fast enough. Service level is a configurable parameter, but by default, the service level is showing the percentage of calls answered within 2 minutes. At the bottom of this report are thermometers showing service level by queue. The resilient queue had no calls, so that service level measures at 100% since no calls missed the service level. But the overall service level is about 40%, with the average talk time per call at 3 minutes, 29 seconds. If you found this information helpful, please give me a like or consider subscribing. If you have your own tip or hint, please leave me a comment to share for others.